Let's kick it off and bring this rowdy crowd to their feet and tighten up, tighten up. Hey Nashville, we're Tennessee, tough, get tough. You can find us everywhere, all across the nation. Rise to the occasion. Tennessee, it's time to tighten up.
What's shaking, everyone? I am your host, Gary Bailey. Thank you for taking the time to tune in to What's Shaking Titans, guys. And with that being said, let's go ahead and bring in our co-host. We got the one, the only Matthew Massey sitting here right in the middle, who just went to timeout. Right beside him, we got none other than Titans superfan Blueface, a.k.a. Matthew Maddox. So, guys, real quick, if you're tuning in to us live right now on YouTube, please take this time to hit the subscribe button as well as turn on all notifications to get the latest from What's Shaking Titans. With that being said, guys, we got an awesome show planned for y'all today as we bring in y'all our game recap from Thursday night. So, with that being said, I'm going to shoot it to Massey first. Man, Massey, what's your thoughts on this game, brother?
Hey, man, what's up, everybody? Definitely good to be back. Been looking forward to this show. Super awesome. Obviously the Titans come away with a loss on this one, but in my opinion, man, it was still a heck of a game on both sides of the ball by both teams. Obviously, as a Titans fan, I really wish we could have pulled that one out, but with us being able to go down to that very last play, or basically the last play of the game, our last drive of the game, and get that close to actually winning the game, it says a lot, you know what I mean? So it was really super excited.
Hang on, we're having some technical difficulties here, guys, so if y'all just give us a brief moment, we'll be right back.
Good, y'all can hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
What's going on, fellas? Can y'all hear me? Okay, I did hear y'all.
All right, guys, we are back live right now. Do apologize for the brief interruption there, guys. We had some technical difficulties, but we got everything fixed out and worked out. So, once again, let me welcome in our co-hosts for today's show. We got the one, the only, Matthew Massey, and then right next to him, we got Titans superfan, a.k.a. Blueface.
Yeah, my bad about that, y'all. Sorry.
Hey, it's all good, brother. It happens. It happens. But yeah, man, so Massey, you were in the middle of giving your take, man. If you want to kind of go back through that and just re-give that for all the fans out there.
Yeah, like I said, guys, super awesome to be back. Hate that I missed Monday's show, but again, it was an awesome show. Super fun to watch. So to recap the Titans versus Steelers game, obviously we come away with a loss on that one, but it gave me a lot of confidence to be able to put it in the hands of Will Levis as a rookie and then still almost be able to get the win there at the end of the game. So, it was a tough loss for us, but I actually don't feel as bad about this loss as I have been throughout the beginning of the season. So moving forward, I got all the confidence in the world in this Titans team, and especially if Will Levis stays back there behind center.
Yeah, you definitely seen some improvement from the quarterback position, especially when we had the likes of, Malik Willis and Ryan Tannehill back there. Will Levis definitely brings a elevated, game to this offense. So with that being said, Blueface, man, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like I said the day after the game, Friday morning, it feels weird to, almost not be as upset about it. It feels different losing, you have a bunch of, good stuff you can take away from this game. And, we still all know, the biggest weakness on his team is obviously the offensive line. Of course, there were a bunch of injuries and stuff in that game, guys coming in and out playing with injuries. So, a lot of that affected the offensive line, and didn't give Will Levis, any, competent time to throw the ball, in Pittsburgh, Thursday night. So definitely, some things to work on there, man, moving forward. But, we've seen a lot of good stuff still. We've seen some development even in the wide receiver core with, Kyle Phillips. He had a, big game. I think it was 4 receptions,
bro.
Like 68 yards. So Kyle Phillips, out there showing us that he can be a threat for, our offense. Maybe just keep him away from, the punts. Maybe those are too high up in the air and he can't see it. I don't know. Yeah, and D-Hop with another solid game, 4 receptions, 60 yards, all in the first half, of course, but still, there's that. I think, the secondary played well for the most part. Getting pressure on the quarterback, and actually, causing havoc in the backfield and bringing, Pickett down, that was absolutely terrible the other night. We got to do better. This front four is supposed to be top 5 in the league, so we got to do better there. But, like I said, there's some good and some bad that we can take away from Thursday night in a big road game. Primetime football moving forward. And, just have to, kind of adjust and adapt to those things.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, you bring up some great points there. We definitely want to give our condolences and our thoughts and prayers go out to Treylon Burks as he goes down with, what seemed to be during the game a severe concussion. Good news is that Treylon Burks was able to walk out of the locker room and board the bus to ride home with the rest of the team. So, that's good news. But Treylon Burks does go into concussion protocol, so we'll probably be missing him for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But yeah, to kind of touch on some of the things that you were saying, man. Yeah, what a day, Kyle Phillips had. Definitely a bounce back game from Kyle Phillips. And then, even Chig had a little bit of a bounce back there. I'm pretty sure we didn't see a, incompletion that wasn't on him. No drops, which was good for me to see that, I do want to kind of bring up a play that we did see, that Mike Vrabel put the blame on Will Levis, and I have to completely disagree with him here. So, I'm going to talk about this play, and I want to get y'all's thoughts and opinion and see if y'all believe that the fault should go on Will Levis or do you think it goes on Tyjae Spears. So, it was right before halftime. Will Levis had Spears wide open. It definitely would have been a walk-in touchdown, and by the time Will Levis had released the football, Spears had turned completely around backwards facing Will Levis and tried to backstep into this pass to catch it. And just completely stumbled, and it was just a crap show right there. Definitely a poor decision, in my opinion, by Tyjae Spears. Do y'all put that play on Will Levis or Tyjae Spears?
I'll let you go first, Blue.
I mean, I think it's just bad route running. I think it's more on Tyjae as not finishing the route as it is, Will Levis overthrowing him. I mean, I don't know. I guess you could look at it either way. I don't know how you change the direction and velocity of the ball after you've already let it go and the guy turns around and stops running. I don't understand that part of it. But if Mike Vrabel can show Will Levis how to do that, then, go do it, man. That's great.
All right. Just Magic Johnson that ball somehow, bro.
I mean, my thing is, man, like, I mean, You're 4 yards from the end zone at that point. Like, I mean, the route had to have been just go. It can't. There's no way that it was a turn and stop 4 yards shy of the end zone. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's no way that was like you just were supposed to keep running. Tasha, you have to look over your shoulder. It's going to be dropped. I mean, if he'd have kept running, it would have been dropped right. All he had to do was this, like he was catching a baby.
Yeah, bring those hands up just a little bit, bro. Bring those hands up just a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? It's all he'd had to do, bro. Was just catch it like a little baby, bro. Just...
Like, I don't know what to do with my hands, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean,
go ahead, bro.
I agree 100%. I do not think that was on Will Levis at all. I definitely feel like Vrabel misjudged that from his coaching standpoint. And with that being said, I'm not going to sit here and make any excuses for Tajay Spears on not catching that ball. And the reason is why. Yes, he's a rookie, but even as a running back, no, you're not a wide receiver. No, that's not your job the whole game to catch the ball. But even as a running back, it is in their job description to know how to catch footballs. So just like we would
The
say
third
for
down
any
back.
exactly, and just like we would say for any other player that has catching or is a wide receiver, if the ball touches your hands, you got to catch that. And also, I would also say, just from what I've seen when it happened and watching a couple of the replays of it, he panicked. Like he got so wide open. It's like his legs and his feet like forgot how to work, and his main thing was like, let me figure out how to catch the ball, but he did it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't catch the ball.
Well,
So
yeah, and to
definitely don't feel like Vrabel.
yeah, and the kind of the Blues point here, is if you go back and you really watch that play, if Spears never turned around, if he kept running in the same direction, facing the end zone, that ball would have fell right into what we call the money pocket, which is right here. It is literally right here, bro.
Yeah.
That ball would have went straight over his shoulder, right into his hands. But instead of doing that, sorry, I muted my mic. I don't know why. But instead of doing that, he literally stops his route, and turns completely around, faces Will Levis, and then tries to backstep into it. Like that right there, of course, that's a rookie mistake. That's something that I hope this coaching staff will, help work with him on, because if he would have caught that, that's definitely a walk-in touchdown, and that changes the whole outlook of this game. But for the most part, it was a pretty solid game all around. Like y'all both said, there's some things that, I'm sure we all wish we can kind of go back and forth and change, from every position. Let's talk about this defense, though. In the first 4 games of this year, this defense was ranked 4th in the league for pass rushing, and the last 4 games, they're ranked 32nd, dead last. So what's your thoughts on that, Massey?
That one hurts. But I mean, it's shown on the field. I mean, our Simmons has to find a way to get to the quarterback quicker, with or without penalty calls as far as holding goes. You know what I mean? And then Danico Autry, and if Pop-Tart, I don't think he played in the Thursday night game, but if I call him Pop-Tart, but if Tierra Tart is able to come back as well, Danico Autry and Tierra Tart need to feed off of Big Jeff. You know what I mean? That way, that right there, you got 3 monsters coming at you hard and tough. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say Danico didn't play really hard on Thursday night too. We just got to have more of the quarterback pressures from the D line. And also, the secondary's got to play better. They got to get under the ball. I will never agree with being okay. So if the offense, say the Steelers needed 7 yards, I do not understand why our cornerbacks line up 10 yards off of them. That will never make sense to me. I mean, I get certain play calls. You got coverage and you got the safety that's supposed to take over in a certain area and things like that. But if I'm always like, press. If they need 5 yards and you're 10 yards off the receiver, 9 times out of 10 they're going to get that first down every time. So
you don't want to play press. You don't want to play press coverage there. The only reason being is because if you're a defensive back or something, bro, you want to have time to get your feet set and get up to the sticks. You don't want to play at the sticks. If you play at the sticks, you'll get beat over the middle every time on the outside or something. There's nowhere for you to play your coverage, especially if you're playing pressing right up on top of them. So that part of it I understand, but there is moments where I do not understand why we play so far back in coverage and we're, spread out so far. First off, our defensive line the other night, that front 4, oh my gosh, bro, they couldn't have brought down a fence post, man. Like, they really couldn't have. Like, let's forget like all the holds that were happening apparently, every snap.
Shout out to my dad.
Yeah. No, but there was some holds that weren't called, but I mean that's every game, like whatever. Let's go move past all that. There were some legitimate chances for us to, put some pressure on the Steelers and, actually generate some sacks, get some stops, maybe, force some bad throws that come into some turnovers, maybe a fumble or something somewhere. And we weren't able to generate that. It was a lot like in the Browns game. we were, able to get back there in the backfield, make that push, but we were never able to actually generate any real pressure or like a disturbance that actually, uh, you know, brought productivity to the game and actually, counter influenced what, they were doing, into, something positive for us. And we have to start generating turnovers, guys. I don't know where we rank in the league right now in turnovers, but I know that it can't be very high.
We're dead last, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Okay. See. Yeah.
If I'm correct, we only have 2 turnovers of the season.
Yeah, I think one's a fumble and one's an interception, right?
Yeah, and Sean Murphy Bunting, who, by the way,
He's
missed
accounting
this
for both.
game. So Sean Murphy Bunting, I think he started in this game, but he had to leave early because of an injury.
Yeah.
So that really didn't help our secondary out. And yeah, our secondary really needs to step up. Honestly, I just feel like we're in kind of a tight pickle yet again. Just having some solid holes in the secondary, plus you got injuries that is starting to come up. And to kind of talk about, the reasoning behind Mike Vrabel and what's his name, Shane Bowen, right? Defensive coordinator. Am I saying that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But part of the reasoning behind them pulling their cornerbacks and safety, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards off the receivers during these plays is most likely because they don't trust their speed. They feel like the opposing offense, their pass catchers have more speed and can get behind them if they put them too close. So, I kind of get that, but I also with y'all there, it does kind of suck when you know that, hey, this is a situation where it's like a 3rd and 5 or 4th and 5. Let's keep them up close. Let's bunch them up at the line. Let's make them fight for it. I think when we see this type of play calling, it really tells you what the coaching staff believes they have. And it's probably not that much in this secondary right now. Although, granted, the secondary did hang in there. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, a lot of us not playing press coverage is going to be, us not wanting to get beat, downfield. You think of, God forbid I say it, the release of Kevin Byard, which, I haven't, hey, hang me up from, the rafters at Nissan, whatever you want to do, bro. But I haven't really noticed
a difference.
That Kevin Byard.
Bro, let's talk about that for a second, because that's a good point. We kind of mentioned it. I don't know if you remember this, Blue, but me, you, and Fox mentioned this on Monday during our episode when we were previewing this game. I feel like the absence of Byard hasn't really affected this defense much of anything. If anything, I felt like this defense had a boost coming into that first game without him,
They got a turnover.
Yeah, and it made me question, and I'm not saying this is the case, guys. So like, if you want to chew me out in the comments, go ahead. But that London game, Big Jeff did come out and say, hey, if we need players that want to be here. If you don't want to be here, then you need to get out. Because when you have that kind of toxicity in your locker room or on a team, it will really kill the vibe. And then you got players all over the board who's just not committed to trying to give their all. And then we lose Kevin Byard, and that defense, man, in that Falcons game was lights out, bro. I don't know. I don't want to sit there and attribute that to him leaving
Christian
or anything.
Fulton's played better without Kevin Byard.
Yeah, it just makes you think. Was that somebody that Big Jeff was referring to?
Now, Amani Hooker has kind of like, I think Amani Hooker's leaving more desired, but he just stepped into a bigger role, guys. I don't think Edmonds is, the guy that, we think is going to replace Byard. I think it's more so on Hooker now to take the front lead of this. Like, this has been your team, bro. You've been here. You know the system. Like, this is your time to do it. But Amani Hooker the other night, 6 solo tackles, 7 total tackles in the pass deflection. Christian Fulton's been playing better. Jeffrey Simmons, he, had, his issues against the Steelers bringing down Pickett, but still got a tackle for a loss, still had 7 total tackles in the Thursday night game. So I feel like the defense has played better. Like I said, come for me in the comments, whatever you want to do. Edmonds also had 4 total tackles, 4 solo tackles, actually. So I don't know.
Well,
I haven't really noticed it.
Yeah,
Right.
and as far as Edmund goes, this was his first game playing because he didn't play in the Falcons game. So this was his first active game that he's actually been in the field. So I think for what we did get to see,
I noticed
it was
him more
better
than I did
than
KB this year.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was better than what we've seen prior, in that position. And I think, the more that he gets to develop in this, playbook, our defensive scheme, and understand how we do our, ins and outs of it, I think he'll continue to get better. I don't know if he's ever going to reach, like you said, that KB level type of play. I
Yeah.
mean, we can hope, but I don't
Hey,
think I don't.
shout out Al Shazier.
Oh
Had a
yeah,
big
Yeah.
game the other night. Big stop there on that long ball coming over the top, man. I mean, he kind of just, hung out for it. Cowabunga, dude, he was out there to get it.
He
And
wasn't even looking
big,
for the ball.
yeah, big pass deflection there, broken up, man. He had 10 total tackles on the night. So he's been a great addition, man. Key's been a great addition. Elijah Molden looked a lot better in the Thursday night game. Yeah, they had some miscues and whatnot, but guys, we lost that game by 4 points. I don't know
Right.
that
And
going
also-
into that game, if you'd have gave me Tannehill or Malik Willis at quarterback going into that game, I don't know that I would have told you that I would have believed that it was going to be 16-20 final score.
Right.
I don't think that it would have been that close. I don't think that we would have had the same opportunities that Will Levis and the offense was able to generate. I know I've stuck away from the defense here for a second, but just, putting that out there, guys, I think this whole team has played a lot better since Will Levis has taken over at quarterback.
Yeah, definitely since he's taken over. And also I wanted to touch back on Gary's point about Kevin Byard was possibly like a cancer to this team in that locker room. You know what I mean? If you got one guy that's in there and the rest of the team, I won't say like everybody else on the team, but if you got that one person that's trying to put a damper on that vibe in the locker room or that mentality in the locker room, yeah, it's gonna show out there on the field. And like y'all said, that's kind of what I'm getting at to the point that both of y'all are making.
I think it was a lot of the pay cut.
Yeah,
pay
pay
cut
cut, like
and
money
the
being
contract
involved.
change.
Right. And you
Yeah.
got players here that want to play to win. They know they're getting a paycheck or whatever it is every game, every week, every year, whatever. But
Yeah.
you got players here that want to go out there every single week and win the game. They're not worried about how much they're getting paid or if their contract's up or whatever, as much as KB was, in my opinion. And he did it for 7+ seasons as a Titan.
Let's not put it out that way. Let's put it out this way: is like, not that KB as much cared, but it was more so, I feel like, a disrespect thing to Kevin Byard. If you look at, we didn't change anything with Ryan Tannehill in the offseason and his contract. We didn't ask him to, restructure, take a pay cut. But you asked Kevin Byard, who last year, he played more games than Ryan Tannehill. He was more productive, in his position than Ryan Tannehill was last year. He was more beneficial to us overall. Even towards the end of the season, when it looked like all hope was lost in that Dallas game, he showed up big. So, like,
Agreed.
for me, I feel like it was a disrespect thing, and like there was some, animosity between Kevin Byard and the front office already going into the season. And when things started, coming down to us losing, those games, consecutively, or however the hell it, occurred, and we were 2 whatever.
Right.
And the season looked like it was going down the drain. I think it was, just a mutual feeling to let go of that, and let's part ways. Let's find something that works for both teams. I think Edmonds will be great for us, overall.
Yeah.
I think that'll pan out and it'll work and it'll fit into our defensive scheme. We did get the draft picks from there, so we have some extra draft capital going into the offseason. And also, guys, let's not forget the money. I hate to say it, but I mean, like, the trade makes sense to me just for that reason alone. The money issue. I mean, I think it was Upload Show that he asked, somebody try to, make this make sense to me. I mean, it makes sense to me just in the, the salary for, next year, this offseason coming up.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a star rookie quarterback right now who we need to build around, and that's a great way to do that. And that's exactly what Rand Carthon said he was going to come in here and do, and was fix the money situation. If you ask me, Boom. He's done what he said he was going to do. And I'm not mad at his picks either. Tajay Spears looks great. Peter Skronsky looks great. Will Levis looks great. Tell me one of them that don't look good right now. You know, I mean,
Talk about it.
hats off to Rand Carthon.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's what he
I
got.
mean, we still have issues.
Yeah.
We do have issues. And, you know, I feel like over the next, you know, year to 2 years, the next, you know, 3 years, let's say, all this stuff's going to come to, you know, a head, and it's all going to, you know, be fixed eventually. The guy's smart. I trust him. You know, I trust him more than I did J-Rob. He's showing us results. He's showing us, hey, I know how to, you know, go find these. Al Shazier, great job. Nick Folk, great job.
Right.
T, great job.
Yeah.
Like he knows what D-Hop, great job. Like he knows what he's doing, guys. So we got to just, you know, be patient. I know we lost Thursday night and that sucks, but there's a lot to build off of that game, a lot of positives. And I think we go back in, you know, and we, you know, take these next, you know, few days off and, you know, this extra time off, this kind of mini bye. And we adjust those issues, man. Let some guys get healthy, figure out what's going to work best going forward into the rest of the year. And let's make a push all the way to the playoffs, man.
Yes, sir. And
Yeah.
I got to agree with you earlier again about what you said as far as the team playing harder behind Will Levis, too. I mean, it's so incredible to see, really. Like, it looks like a whole different team. And then also to touch back on, I don't remember the last time that I watched a Titans game through and through and we lost, and I was not like infuriated or not looking forward to the next game because I felt like we didn't have any chance in the world type feeling. After this loss, I am so confident going into this next game with the quarterback, with the play calling. If it continues, it's not just Will Levis that has to keep progressing. It's the whole situation on all three sides of the ball.
I think he can use this as fuel. Use
Right.
this loss as fuel and build a fire, man, and like just go with it, man. I mean, I know that was a tough loss. Teron Davenport, you know, was like, you know, Will Levis has to learn how to shake these losses off and put that stuff behind him because the kid was sitting in a chair in the locker room after that game, you know, with his head down. Like, let him soak that in, bro. Like, let him learn from this. Back up off of the kid. Everybody put so much pressure on that guy after the first win Sunday, in Nashville versus Atlanta. And then he went on the road, you know, immediately after that and started getting ready for Pittsburgh, on Thursday night in a hostile environment, which I'm not giving that, you know, any excuse to it. Like, it's an NFL game. Like, you're going to have to learn that. That's how the road is. That's just how it is. So he's going to have to adjust to that, which I feel like he did. I thought we watched Will Levis grow in front of our eyes on national TV Thursday night against Steelers. I thought we watched him progress because when he first came out, it looks kind of choppy. We were like, okay, maybe hold on, let's wait a minute. And then, you know, as the game went on, he started hitting those passes to D-Hop downfield. That opened up Kyle Phillips downfield later. Then Derrick Henry got going. So I thought we watched him kind of develop right there on the field. I mean, in game. And
Yeah.
for me, that's exciting that he can take those, you know, moments from the game where he's had, you know, bad situations and adjust and kind of build off of that right then and there.
I think
that shows me that he's general.
I think
For
we've
sure.
seen like a different form of Levis than we did in the Falcon game and the Steelers game. And what I mean by that is, you know, as I've kind of gone through and, done my film study on the Steelers game, the one thing I noticed is we didn't really have too many deep passes. You know, we kept it mid-range, short range, bro. So, you know, we got to see that kind of aspect that we really didn't see too much of. I mean, we did see it in the Falcons game, but we seen more of it in the Steelers game. So that was kind of, you know, good to see. It was good to see him be able to, you know, kind of go through the learning process of that, and to kind of go over the stat lines, you know, between both those games. I got it pulled up right here on my other monitor. In the Falcons game, of course, we know Levis was 19 of 25 for 238 yards, 4 touchdowns. It was a 65.52 completion percentage. His average yard per play was 8.21. His longest play was a 61-yard pass. He was sacked twice, and he finished that game with a QBR of 130.46. Then we fast forward to, Thursday night's game against the Steelers. Levis finished that game 22 of 39 for 262 yards, 1 interception. His completion percentage was 56.41. His average yard per play was 6.72, and then his longest play was a 29-yard pass. He was sacked 4 times for a overall QBR of 66.4. And then if you kind of combine both those stats together through the first 2 games, this is his overall stats for the season. He is 41 of 68 for 500 yards flat, 4 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. He's completed 60.29% of his passes. He averages about 7.35 yards per play. His long, of course, is the 61-yard pass from the Falcons game. He's been sacked 6 times for a QBR of 96.45. So, if we're looking at that alone, we already know that, he's outperforming Malik Willis. He's outperforming Ryan Tannehill. I do have to say, yeah, we've seen some things that, not only Will Levis, but this whole entire offense needs to continue to work on and improve on. But, with what we're seeing out of this young quarterback, you have to think that, Mike Vrabel has to be kind of forced here to announce that Will Levis is a starter moving forward. That's just my opinion. I think if you put Tannehill back in this game, back in as the starting QB, I think it's going to cause a lot of negative reaction, not only from the fan base, but national media, public, local media. And, I think that's just the kind of juju that the Titans front office don't want to bring on them. So what's your thoughts on if Vrabel possibly brings Tannehill back in as a starter?
That's crazy to me. I mean, honestly, that'd be ridiculous. I mean, Will Levis is able to create, like, he's crafty with this offense. Like, obviously these guys want to play with him. I mean, that shows, the past 2 games it's shown, D-Hop's played a whole lot harder for Will Levis than he has Ryan Tannehill. Sorry.
Yeah.
But he has.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look,
the effort, he was able to get 8 different receivers involved Thursday night. 8 different receivers. I don't know when the last time Tannehill did anywhere close to 8 different receivers because he's too busy trying to force the ball to D-Hop.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing is, man, it's just baffling to me. And, I want to ask you this, Massey. It's baffling to me how Mike Vrabel puts, so much backing behind Tannehill and has been super overly critical on Will Levis's gameplay, from the Falcons game into the Steelers game. He's heavily came out and criticized, Will Levis, saying, he needs to perform better, he needs to throw tighter balls, and needs to do this and that. Yet we've seen Levis definitely get out there and put up 2 games that, in my opinion, outdone anything that Tannehill's done all year long. So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, we know Vrabel's the type of coach that wants to have that consistent quarterback. He wants to I don't know. I'm not going to make excuses for the man, but it definitely seems like, just by watching his press conferences and things like that, in his brain, he still thinks that Tannehill has the capability, even though he's been standing there on the sidelines and watching exactly what Tannehill cannot do, which is get us down the field, get us in the end zone, throw 4 passing touchdowns. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the heck Vrabel is seeing. And with all due respect to Ryan Tannehill, I feel like he had a great stint with us. He came in, he did his thing. We went to the AFC Championship with him starting. Great. You did great, man. Now it's time for him to move on to his next chapter, because I don't know about y'all, but I definitely think we have a franchise quarterback in Will Levis.
Can I give my honest opinion on the Vrabel thing, guys?
Yeah, fire, bro.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's going to play Ryan Tannehill again. But I also don't think that he's going to come out in a press conference and give the media what they want to hear. Like we've seen before, he said, well, I'm going to play. Both guys will play. Both guys will play against the Falcons. He gave Malik, 2 snaps? And then we got to see what we wanted to see, and Will Levis played majority of that game, guys. I'm not going off of anything that Mike Vrabel says in those press conferences.
Right.
Like you said, Tuesday we'll know. Tuesday on the depth chart, we'll know more with Ryan's health and stuff like that. Guess what, guys? Have you guys heard anything about Ryan Tannehill at practice? I haven't. You know why? Because they're not worried about Ryan Tannehill. He's done for the rest of the year, guys. Malik Willis will be your starter for the rest of the year. You can put that here first on
Will
what
Levis.
I'm sorry, Will Levis. My bad.
Guys, let me ask you this question: if
Go ahead.
you two were in a Ryan Tannehill situation in the NFL on this Tennessee Titans team, and I'm gonna give y'all my answer by asking y'all this question too: would y'all want to get back in the game, or would you, as the quarterback of the team for this Titans organization, would you not want to let Will Levis go in there and continue to ball out?
Okay, so you're asking if we are Ryan Tannehill. So if we're in Ryan Tannehill's shoes, basically, is what you're asking.
Correct.
Well, I mean,
would you be cheering Will Levis on, or would you be like, oh man, I hope he f's up so I can get back in there?
well, I mean, so if you ask me,
If
this
I'm Ryan
question,
Tannehill,
Yeah.
yeah, if you ask me this question, bro, I have to. My answer would be, you know, as a team player, you know, you got to support whoever gives your team the best opportunity moving forward. Yeah, you might have some hard feelings deep inside, you know, like, man, like, this sucks. I really, you know, I want it to be that guy. But ultimately, you know, your goal is to get this team to a Super Bowl. And if you're not able to perform at, you know, a certain level, you know, then, yeah, I think, I would have to sit back and say, hey, you know, this guy's better than me, you know. I got room where I need to improve on, you know, and right now he's just outplaying me. So, you know, that's my opinion. Now, whether or not that's how Tannehill's taking it, I don't know, you know, but that's just me as a person. Right. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah. What about you, Blue?
I mean, I guess for me, I mean, it's a little bit different for me in a way. Just, you know, if I was Ryan Tannehill, man, I'm in the NFL. I'm a 12-year vet, man. Like, I've seen the stuff online. Like, I've heard the, you know, media talking about me. Like, I saw Will Levis's game, bro. Like, I'm fired up right now. I am ready to go back out there, and I'm ready to show everybody that, hey, I still got it, man. But at the same time, like, you have to think what's best for the organization moving forward. And that comes down to Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff and their decisions, not, you know, solely. You know, and that's my opinion on what I feel like Ryan Tannehill should feel like. If he's any type of competitor, that's how he should feel. You know, I want to get back out there and I want to win these games. You know, like, I want to carry us to the playoffs. Show everybody I still got it. You know, I don't think there's a bit of give up in a guy, you know, like that. You know, and Ryan Tannehill, like, guys, has done great thing. Like, you know, he's a great guy, man. Like, he's been awesome for us. Like, while, you know, he had those stints and while he had those runs, but, you know, the decline has been showing, you know, rapidly more and more every, you know, time he steps on the field. So I think that it's just time that we move on as an organization.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Ryan Tannehill give up. No, dude, keep fighting, bro. Like, claw and scratch until, you know, you're cut from the team and then you have to go somewhere else, you know.
Right.
But I just feel like, you know, as a fan, Will Levis, you know, has to be your guy moving forward. You have to want to sit on the bench, take your money, dude, sit down, and you know, let this guy develop, you know, in front of your eyes, because you didn't want to mentor Malik Willis when he came in. I doubt you're doing any mentoring.
I was just about to ask. Now, I wonder what the situation would be. You know, how's Malik Willis taking this whole thing? You know,
I think Willis is
I'm
taking
sure
it
that's
pretty
tough.
good though, man. Like,
I'm sure that's tough, man. You know, but he's gotta understand. You know, just like, you know, I just said about Ryan, like, you have to understand what's best for the team as a whole. There's 52 other guys other than just you. You know what I'm saying? So there's always backups on the bench. Like, there's guys that sit on the bench the whole season and then go to the Super Bowl and they win a Super Bowl. Sometimes that's your place. Yeah, but I think that, you know, a lot of this team is understanding now their roles in this game. You know, like, I've heard a bunch of the Titans players come out and saying, like, I've met him several times personally myself and talked to him. Malik Willis is a great guy. Great guy. Honestly, like, I mean, he's a really good guy. He's cool to talk to, but
he's just not the guy.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what's working best with our offense, guys. I mean,
right now where he's at in his career, like, I mean, he's at best a backup. You know?
Yeah, something. He's at best whatever. I mean, Maybe he's better in a different system. I don't know, but I'm just
I was
saying
gonna say,
here
like
and what
like a Tyson Hill, Saints kind of system. Maybe
you know,
not.
and I think that's how we were going to use him in that Falcons game. Had that not bad snap occurred,
Right.
still not going to give him a pass on that because same thing happened to Will Levis and he caught the snap anyway. But we're,
Right.
It's just I feel like he's had such bad luck here that a fresh start from Malik Willis would actually be nice somewhere else. I don't know where that fresh start could be. Guys, Minnesota's going to need a quarterback here soon.
Yeah.
How reluctant is the injury to Kirk Cousins' health? Moving forward, I know he's out for the rest of the season, guys. Sometimes these injuries, these guys don't come back the same as Josh Dobbs. Your answer
Whoa.
moving forward, how funny would that be next year for Josh Dobbs to get cut from the Minnesota Vikings and then move Malik Willis in as the starter? A big. That would be
I don't know, man.
hilarious.
Like the one thing I kind of predicted before this season ever started was, if Kirk Cousins went down with an injury, then and something happened to Aaron Rodgers, which both things had happened, that Aaron Rodgers would leave the Jets and go to Minnesota. There's going to be a Brett Favre situation all over again.
No, I like the Malik
So-
Willis story better now that Josh Dobbs. is
But
out.
honestly, I don't think Minnesota fits because Minnesota's offense is very similar to our offense. Where I think like you won't if you think Malik Willis, I think of Baltimore Ravens. A offense where he can get in there, study behind Lamar Jackson, someone who has similar play attributes as he does. I think that's really the best fit for him. Is somewhere like Baltimore or maybe even I wouldn't fully put it on it, but maybe even go take Mariota's spot as the backup to Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he'd be okay, Minnesota, man. I like that offense. I like the idea of Malik Willis with Jefferson, but I don't even know how I got here, guys. I'm sorry. I just
Yeah. No, I mean
I found it. I was walking, guys, and there was this like hole, and I was like, "What's down there?" I'm gonna go down there for a minute.
well, I mean that's like Tannehill's new home that we found at the stadium, bro.
Yeah. I was just walking, and I was like, there's a hole. I'm going to go see what's down there. There it was. Malik Willis to the Vikings, guys. What a rabbit hole that was. I found.
But yeah, back on subject here, back to the game, guys. Man, like,
Back to reality.
Back to reality. Snap! There goes gravity. But yeah, guys. I mean, overall, you have to come away with some good takeaways. Of course, I'm the type of person like I always look for areas where I can personally improve because the day that I feel like I don't need to improve anymore is the day that I feel like I stopped growing. And so I feel like,
Not growing when I was 6.
right, so you always want to look for those areas in life that, hey, whether it's your job, in this or in this, particular thing that we're talking about, of course, when it comes to the players, it's definitely, their job. But you always want to find areas to where you can kind of improve on. And so, we definitely see areas where everybody on this team can improve. One of the things that I want to talk about that really needs to improve is this coaching staff. So Massey, I want to shoot this to you in just a second. But, we seen in the Falcons game, we seen a really aggressive game plan by the Tennessee Titans and this coaching staff. And then we go to Thursday night with the Steelers, and we see such a conservative game plan, and in my opinion, like I felt like that kind of attributed to, how the game ended for us. So what's your thoughts on this coaching and the game plan that we went in to face the Steelers?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the words you just used there, which was conservative. And I know it's kind of like torn down the middle here on this one as far as my opinion on this goes. I feel like we were maybe coaching a little too conservative during this game. I mean, I'm not saying like take chances, basically, three out of 4 quarters of the game. But what
Just go
I am
Hail
saying
Mary
is,
every pass, bro.
well, yeah. Send them, go get it. But no,
Look at the flick of the wrist.
I would say the coaching definitely has to be like the play calling they did what I was talking about a couple weeks ago about being less predictive. I definitely feel like the coaching, the play calls, and things like that were less predictable than they have been throughout the beginning of the season. Now, when you are in the 2-minute warning drive or 2-minute drill, whatever it's called, before halftime, I did not understand why you, as the coaching staff, basically killed your team's momentum to go in there and get 7 and just settle for 3. Now, Maddox was making a good point to me about that, and I agree with him. That part makes sense. But at the same time, in my opinion, in the moment, if you're pushing that hard, I think it was under 2 minutes to go whenever that drive started, a minute and something. But, we pressed. We made plays. We got well within field goal range. And then we had a timeout left, and then I can't remember exactly how many seconds were left. And they gave it to Spears. They did a draw and gave it to Spears and settled for the field goal. In my opinion, man, you take another shot. If it is a pass in the middle, you still have that one timeout, and then you settle for the field goal. But in my opinion, they should have went for the touchdown before half. So as far as the coaching goes, man, I feel like we were maybe just a little too conservative, which could be contradictive, throughout from what I've said before and what I may say moving forward in the season. That might be contradictive. Maybe it was a good idea to play conservative and we only lost by as many points as we did versus if we were not playing conservative, maybe we would have got skunked, but it also goes both ways. Maybe we could have blew them out. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion on that. What do you think about the coaching staff?
I think it's just, like we've seen all season, it's a lot of back and forth. 1 week it's one way, one way. 1 week it's the next. Derrick Henry had 17 carries for 75 yards. I don't know how many times we've said this on this show. You have to give him over 20 touches. He has to have over 20 touches per game. And we win those games. All 3 of them. All 3 of our wins. Now, granted, all 3 of our wins have been at home. All 3 of our wins, Derrick Henry has had 20-plus touches.
I want to touch on this, too. That's 2 weeks in a row my bold predictions were that close to being right. They were that close.
I just, there's a lot that this coaching staff leaves to be desired. The halftime thing, the only reason I say that was a good decision by the coaching staff is because you get the points in the way that this game was going on Thursday night, the way that everything was happening. I don't know how far that field goal was. Do you guys remember exactly how far? I know it was past 40 yards, right?
No, it was a 30. I think it was a 38-yard field goal.
Oh, was it?
38.
Yeah.
Was it? Because where was the ball?
Yeah, you're talking about the one at halftime, right?
Yeah.
Or right before halftime? Yeah, that was a 38.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
15 or 20 or something.
No, it would have been like the 39-ish yard line, give or take.
39 from what? From where?
I said the 39-yard line, bro.
Oh,
39
I
yard
thought you
line.
said 39.
Somewhere in 39 to about 35. Somewhere in there.
Yeah,
I'll have to look that up.
I think a lot of it was, just, the way that the game was going with not only with our players and their players, but the referees in that game, man, a lot of penalties in that first half. I was hoping that they kind of calmed down in the second half, but they didn't. Some questionable calls in that game. And I feel like, there was a bunch of questionable calls that went both ways. On both sides of the ball. So
okay, so I got it pulled up right here. It was a 36-yard field goal with a minute 16 left on the clock, I believe.
Yeah, so I think with that, so that's what I was trying to say. Because Nick Folk holds the record now for most consecutive field goals, 40 yards and in. Beating out Justin Tucker now for that record. So I think it was more of a, how do we secure points going into the half? Let's get a lead. We get the ball back after the second half. Let's not force anything into the end zone. Let's not, force anything up over the top. If you throw a pass and it's over the middle and then he doesn't get a touchdown and you stop it, you're going to kick a field goal anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
You
So
know,
I was wrong on that time.
so-
There was
Could've got
3
a
seconds
touchdown
left
on
when we kicked that field goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
yeah, that was what
Yeah.
So
That
so you
drive
think
took a
mental
minute
time,
and
you know,
16
if you
seconds is what it was saying.
if you snap another play, you know, who knows how long that play takes to develop? Who knows what breaks down on that play, on a passing play? You know, who knows if you can get down in time to get, you know, the clock stopped. So I think
Yeah.
I do agree with the field goal there, just to get the lead, get momentum, you know, of any kind. Because like I told you guys the other day, that halftime locker room speech is a whole lot different when you're tied up than versus when you're leading the game, whether you're leading by a point or whether you're leading by 10 points.
Yeah,
So
and
I feel like
I
that
just
was an
based-
ego, like
I
a
just
morale
based-
booster.
I was just basing my opinion on that before the half, specifically on the momentum they were having in that 2-minute drive. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I agree with you 100%. Play it safe, like you said. If you do that one more pass
Well,
and you go down in the middle of the field, you got to use your timeout. You're still going to get 3. So that makes sense for sure.
Think about the momentum that we had at the end of the game driving down the field too, and then that also ended in an interception. You know what I'm saying? We took that
Yeah.
one more shot towards the end zone, and then it ends in the interception. So you know you could have seen that before halftime, and then that game goes into halftime tied up, and you don't have 16 points. Now you're down 20-13. Now you have to score a touchdown just to tie it. You're not in a position to win the game at the end of the game at that point. So kudos to Vrabel for making that decision to kick that field goal to put Will Levis in a position to win the game. And kudos to Will Levis and the Titans offense for getting down the field on that final drive and putting, you know, giving us something to watch on TV, man. Give me something where I've got some hope, man. Because if I'm sorry, I don't know how you guys would have felt if Ryan Tannehill or Malik Willis was the quarterback on that final drive, but I wouldn't have felt as good as I did with Will Levis. I thought Will Levis was going to score, guys. I really, honestly, truly believed he was going to march right down there and put the ball in the end zone. I felt good about it. You know, I haven't felt that good about us driving down the field in a situation like that in a long time. Let's go back to the Ravens game. I think Will Levis would have won that game.
You know, for me, man, I was when that final drive happened, I was really on the fence, man. I didn't know what we were gonna get from Will Levis, to be honest with you, because we've already seen a couple of his passes before that drive, you know, kind of end up in the hands of defenders. Luckily, they were drops by the defenders, so I was kind of nervous. You know, that whole drive, I was just, you know, fingers crossed, hoping. And yeah, you know, unfortunately, right there at the end, you know, the ball comes up intercepted. But one of the things I do want to kind of bring attention to, I'm going to kind of go through these stats real quick. You've kind of already mentioned a few of them, but I'm just going to run through some of the stats real quick. So in our rushing category on offense, you know, Derrick Henry, like you said, was 17 carries for 75 yards, a touchdown, averaging 4.41 yards per play. Tajay Spears was 5 carries for 18 yards, averaging 3.6 yards per play. Traylon Burks had 1 carry for 5 yards. D-Hop had 1 carry for 5 yards. Will Levis had 1 carry for 2 yards. Then in the receiving category, this is what I want to bring attention to. We started the show mentioning Kyle Phillips. I want to give a huge shout out to Kyle Phillips because, I mean, you talk about just having a comeback game where, you know, you show people what you're made of and what you got. You know, I think this is the start of it, bro. Kyle Phillips, 4 receptions of 5 targets for 68 yards. DeAndre Hopkins, 4 receptions of 11 targets for 60 yards. Chris Moore was 1 for 2 for 29 yards. And Chig Okonkwo, once again, shout out to Chig, 3 of 4 for 28 yards. So, you know, hang on, we got some more here. My bad. Tajay Spears was 4 for 6 for 4 yards, and NWI was 1 for 1 for 23 yards.
Hey, shout out to Spears for that 9-yard run, man. That was a monstrous run, honestly. The guy had his face mask, and he still stepped on him. I don't know what the battle that was going on there, bro, but Tajay Spears won that.
Yeah,
he did.
And then, you know, for pass defense, you got Al Sierra, who gets a pass defense, Danico Autry, who gets a pass defense, Christian Fulton gets a pass defense. Tackles for loss, Big Jeff gets 1, and Tierra Tart gets 1. And then Pecco had 1. So that's really all the stats that we have on defense, you know. So I feel like this was kind of, I wouldn't say a huge letdown game on defense, but you definitely see where, you know, they weren't as aggressive as they were against the Falcons, you know.
If Murphy Bunting wouldn't have went out, you wouldn't have noticed anything different from the Falcons game to that game. I don't think. I think that hurt us a lot having Murphy Bunting go out. That's been a leading force for that secondary, because honestly, guys, like I said, hang me from the Raptors at Nissan, dude. Kevin Byard was not the same guy from past years with us. He wasn't the same leader. He wasn't the same player. Now, a lot of that, I think, goes into like what Gary said that Big Jeff was saying about let's find the guys that don't want to be here, the guys that don't want to play here. I felt like he felt disrespected and he didn't want to play here anymore. You want to take my money, you want to cut my pay, okay, then I'm going to cut my play. I'm going to cut my effort. I'm going to cut.
Talk about it.
I feel like that's what happened, and I feel like that's why we moved on from Kevin Byard. You want me to make the trade make sense to you? I'm making it make sense right now. Please tune in, listen, chime in, give me a like, follow, share, subscribe, something.
And hey, also,
I'm trying to help you understand. You know, I mean, that's my point on the Kevin Byard trade. That's why it makes sense to me. Edmonds showed me against the Steelers, hey, I want to play. I want to help out. What can I do to help out? Let me try to get in here and make a play. I seen him flying around the field. It's hard to miss the 2 big red arms running around out there. I mean, he's a ball hawk, man. He wants to get in on the play. He wants to make a tackle, and he's a hard hitter, man. I don't know if you guys seen out of the 4 tackles that he did make, 2 of those were absolute hit sticks. I mean, if you had a controller, I mean, boom, I'm talking about you're breaking the toggle off. Because those were, I mean, some great hits, man, that stopped big plays downfield. So I've seen a lot more from the secondary in the past 2 games than I have all season, and I think Murphy Bunting is a big part of that.
Yeah. And hey, while we're on the topic of the defense, what about Gibbons, man? Number 50? Yeah. That guy's been playing his butt off.
Good game.
Heck yeah.
Good game for him as well, man. I mean, honestly.
Dr. Gibby, man.
Yeah.
Dr. Gibby.
I mean, not necessarily just, Thursday night's game. I've seen his name and his number being called and him flying all over the field almost all season, man. Like that.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of him in the OTAs and, off season. He was a big name coming up. Who's the other one? I think he's still injured, but Caleb Murphy, when we get Caleb Murphy back, what an addition that will be to have back to this defense, And, guys, I'm going to bring it up again, the double threes, man. The guy's progressing. The guy's playing. I mean, he's productive. So what? He gave up the touchdown against Atlanta. Who cares? That was a great defensive effort, in my opinion. I used to play the position. Sorry, I'm gonna have to pick
just like we talked about with Will Levis, man. It's his rookie year. It's his only second game, just like Will Levis. There's gonna be stuff in his game that you want to see him improve on.
But there's a lot of promise to build on. There's so
definitely promise to both of them for sure. Like, I mean, I think you look at both these players and Eric Greger or whatever his last name is. And then as well as Will Levis, man, and just from where they're starting out, there's a lot of promise. There's a lot of upside. When you really got to do, and we talked about this earlier, when you really got to do a in-depth dive to really find, those things that need to be improved on their game, that says a lot about where they are right now,
Tajay Spears needs to improve on catching the football.
Now, Tajay Spears, the only thing he needs to improve on is don't turn around and face this fucking quarterback, man. Just keep going. That ball would have fell. I mean, literally, if he would have kept running straight, that ball would have went bloop, right in his arm.
But wait, Gary, that's the only thing he needs to get better at?
I mean, maybe get you an ACL replacement,
I think he's doing just fine without him.
Right?
Yeah,
no,
get
I
your
haven't.
ACL
I haven't
so you can
really.
tear
I
it.
mean, I gotta sit there and really kind of go and break down, Spears and
You know,
his,
I'm giving you a hard time.
his. Yeah, I know, but honestly, I will. I will eventually sit because I got all the games. So basically, what I'll do is I'll go back and slowly just watch one particular position at a time, do a breakdown of the ins and outs, what things they need to improve on, stuff like
Hey, what
that.
week did we play the Eagles last year?
It was close to the end of the season. I remember
10?
that.
I think it was like week
Wasn't it
10 or
like week 8, week 9?
Maybe
I think it was like week 10. For
week
some
10.
reason, it's telling me it was week 10. Hold on,
I was
could
just
probably-
curious how the concussion with Traylon Burks happens almost identically at the same point in the year as last year as this year. Just saying.
Yeah, well, it definitely happened a little bit later for him last year. I'm like positive
It
on
was
that.
about this time. I mean, we fired J-Rob right after that. So, I mean,
Yeah, J-Rod definitely
It's about
deserved
this time.
that. But anyway,
That's it. It's scripted.
yeah.
that's not my point. That's not my that's my point is that we're going back into what Big Jeff said about players who don't want to be here and players who don't want to play.
Well,
Okay,
I mean,
so-
dude, if
Taking a
you watch
paycheck.
the way his head bounced off the ground,
And it contorted his body too. So I mean,
Yeah.
good thing he was able to get up and walk on his own
Yeah.
power afterward. I
because
mean,
that could have been a lot
may-
worse.
It may have looked a lot worse than what it actually was, but I mean, he definitely smacked his head.
I think
on
his ego and pride was hurt more than he actually was.
I can't. I
Shoot
can't
me in the
say that,
comments.
man.
Go
Like,
ahead. Don't care.
Concussions,
But, okay, so
concussions can be
so the
severe, bro.
Eagles-
Especially
the Eagles
especially once you
game-
repeat it.
The Eagles and Titans game last year was December 4th. So we were 7-5 after the loss. So that's week 13.
Yeah.
Week 13. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. But
Yeah.
still, my point is, like, guys, I don't think that he's. I mean, I think you can add him to the J-Rob bust. He's more of a liability now than anything. I don't know. You guys can check my Facebook out. Everybody who's tuning in live, watching on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you guys are watching from, you guys can check my Facebook. I made a post about it Friday morning after the game. I'm glad he's okay, but I feel like it was a NBA flop type injury to where his ego and stuff was way more, his pride was way more hurt for, missing that catch, for dropping that ball, not being able to make that play. And you got guys out here like Kyle Phillips and stuff that are making plays, being more productive with offense, in the role where you could have been, but it just doesn't seem like he wants to play.
I mean,
guys. I'm sorry.
as a fan of the team, I understand where you're coming from on that, but also as somebody who thoroughly understands concussions, once you have that first concussion, man, anytime that you even lightly bump your head, it can instantly trigger that same level, if not worse, of a concussion. It's always
Is
there.
he in concussion protocol right now?
Yes, he's in concussion protocol.
He is?
He left the game in concussion protocol.
Right.
He smacked
And then
the hell out of his head,
Yeah,
bro.
bro.
And then he got up off of the cart and he was talking and moving around, and then he walked on his
Yeah,
OR.
but the point is like when you
How
originally
serious,
get that,
what I'm saying is, how serious was it? It wasn't
It-
as serious as what
it was
he made
serious
it to be.
enough to knock him unconscious for a minute. And that's the point. Once you
Quote,
originally,
unquote, hurt my
once you originally get that first concussion, man, all it
quote
takes,
unquote Mike Vrabel and oppressor.
all it takes is for you to get hit in the head, and then boom, it triggers all that again. But yes, you will be able to get up and continue to go on. But I mean that concussion, that swelling in the brain, it stays there, bro. It don't go away. It stays there.
I'm just saying, he's a liability. He doesn't want to play here, man. Like, come on, guys. When we first drafted him, his excuse was, "I can't breathe." Like, come on, dog.
Yeah, that for me was
Like,
definitely a red flag.
like I said, I
Like,
can
it's
understand.
been nothing but excuses for this guy since day one, and I'm so far past it. Especially if guys like Chris Moore and Kyle Phillips are going to come out here and perform better than you, buddy. Just
That's what I was just
give us
about
that
to
money back because you were a first round pick. Give
That's
us
what
our
I was
money.
just
Like I
about to
said,
bring
man. Go ahead, Massey.
Right. Vrabel coaches next man up mentality. So I'm
you.
not going to have any hard feelings if Burks does not play another snap for this team. Like Tannehill. Go to another team. Go ball out. Go do your thing. but I do not want that liability. He has not been in enough games for us to be a number one receiver, in my opinion. Yes, he's had good plays here and there. He's been injured. He's missed more games than he's played, I think. I could
That's
be
your
wrong.
16th. That's your 16th overall pick from last year. 16th
Yeah,
overall.
Well, and
For A.J. Brown to be gone, too.
And to both of y'all's credit, man, like I understand where both of y'all are coming from, and I do agree. He's definitely more of a liability at this point in his career. But I don't think that it was something where he just kind of flopped over on the sidelines because his ego was hurt. I can't say that. I won't say that. Because these concussions are real. Concussions are serious, man. And
yeah, concussions are real, but I do not think it was as serious as what he made it out to be. I don't think the injury is the extent of what we're getting, guys. Just like you said, bro. Like I said earlier, I mean, with the Mike Vrabel press conferences, he's not gonna ever come out here and say exactly what. You're not going to go play poker and show everybody your cards. You're just not. You're not going to show everybody your hands. You're not going to deal it out on the table like that. So I think a lot of it with Treylon is, all right, well, let's get him evaluated. Let's see what's going on. And then from there, we move forward with, getting him a different home. Let's get him out of Tennessee. Let's find him somewhere where he does want to play. Because, guys, I don't see him wanting to play here. Even when he's on the field, he's a non-factor. Best availability is availability. I mean, you said that.
Yeah, the thing is he's not a dog. He's not a weapon for this offense. That's facts.
Right.
In order to be considered a weapon, you got to be available. But I'm not going to sit there and say that that was something that he did because it was a pride ego thing. Only because, coming from somebody who's been in that situation before, it's...
I'm not saying he wasn't hurt. I'm saying that he exaggerated it on a pride.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to sit there and say he exaggerated it because, once you originally have that blow to your head, bro, all it takes, I mean, you could lightly get tapped in the head and it can trigger something like that again. That's why. Yeah,
I had a.
I mean, you look at you. Let's go to racing for a second. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Okay, the whole reason he retired from racing is because he got concussed, and then from his head just thumping back in the seat on his head guard, it would send him into moments to where he wouldn't even realize that he's on the racetrack racing. He's come out publicly talked about this. It happens, man. That those things, those side effects to that concussion never leaves.
Maybe at, 200 something miles per hour, I could probably see that being pretty painful, being banged around at 200 miles per hour.
I definitely don't think that it was a flopper. I mean, maybe Burks exaggerated afterwards, like after the fact, but like in the moment, his head smacked the crap out of the turf.
And that's what I'm saying. I do think he was injured. I don't think that it's as bad as what it's played out to me, guys.
I could see that.
I just don't.
But yeah, I mean,
given his reputation, I could see that.
Yeah,
that's all.
I mean, definitely though. Regardless of the situation, whether it's what y'all think or it's what we feel, it don't matter. We still send our thoughts and prayers out to him because concussions are concussions, man. It sucks either way. That's something that not only affects you in the here and now, but it will definitely affect you as you get older. So our prayers and our thoughts go out to Burks on that one. And hopefully by the start of next year, man, we see a trade, whether it's for draft capital or something, let's get him somewhere where maybe he can be productive. I don't think we see that from him, especially having, two concussions like this, in 2 years simultaneously, to where it completely knocks you unconscious for a second. Like, I don't think any teams want to kind of risk that, because eventually that can cause, loss of limbs. It could get pretty serious. So, I think that we could possibly be seeing, near the end of his career, definitely. But, if I'm the GM, I'm going to try and get something, you ain't going to get that first round pick back, and you definitely ain't getting AJ back for him. So, yeah, once again, shout out to J-Rob for screwing us over yet again.
You almost have to think, bro, it might just be better to cut Burks and just take an L on that because while it would hurt you this year in some dead cap and stuff, it saves you money overall, in the future. He is still in like a rookie contract or whatever.
but I mean, if you're able to during the offseason get
trade
somebody to
value?
trade for, I mean, dude, I don't care
But
if you get a
he
7th
has
round
no trade
pick.
value.
I don't care if you get a 7th round pick from him, bro.
I don't know
You
that he's
take that.
not even worth a 7th round pick. I wouldn't give you my 7th
in
round
our
pick for him.
opinion, but there could be somebody out there who sees more in him than what we see.
Who, Bert?
Too many injuries. And
I'm just saying. How many
not-
times have we seen a
No.
situation like this before? I mean,
How many times have we seen it and it actually work out for another team, though?
you look at what's his name from I think he plays for Texans now. I can't think of his name. Woods.
Damn,
we traded draft capital for him, and he was not too good in my opinion.
He's not good now. He's not doing good over there.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I mean, he did have a good start until he got injured, bro. I mean, honestly, he did.
I know that.
Well, I mean, honestly, usually it's your big name receivers that you got to worry for in the trade. With Burks is going to be somebody that you have in there for a relief, for play or 2 plays, maybe 3 plays. He's not going to be that A.J. Brown, DJ Metcalf type of player. Yeah, he has that build, and yeah, he had that type of potential, but he's just not that type of player. He's going to be a relief player, man, a backup.
So I will never understand why all the scouts and all the people that talked about this trade tried to say that Traylon Burks was going to be A.J. Brown 2.0. Because, come on.
Honestly, I never even seen that when he was in college. Bro.
No way. Like Maddox said, his first OTA, I don't even think it was a whole practice, but he went into the locker room or went back into the building because he couldn't breathe. He needed to hit his inhaler. If that's not a red flag, bro, I was on the fence immediately. Not only because we traded our best wide receiver that we had on the team.
Yeah.
Guys, I met this guy at the draft fest immediately after we drafted him, and I was out on him after hearing him talk.
Yeah.
He had no
Hey,
I still have the video. Let me find the video. I still have the video, guys. When you listen to, Mike Keith asking the questions, all right, so the Titans traded away A.J. Brown to get the pick to move up to pick you in the draft, blah, blah, blah. It's a big shoes to fill. He had no confidence in his, I just want to, whatever I can do to help out the team, blah, blah. Fuck that, bro. No. We just traded away our guy for you. Now you have to come in and say, yeah, I'm going to, blah, blah, blah. I'm ready to take over. And he had no confidence in himself then. I don't think he has confidence in himself now.
Yeah. But, I mean
guys, his first NFL touchdown was a recovered fumble from Derrick Henry. You know what I mean? He was just in the right spot at the right time.
And the only reason the ball was fumbled was because he missed a block.
He missed his block.
Mm-hmm.
I was just about to say that exact thing. The only reason that he was able to get that, and I'm sure y'all seen it too, he went over on the sidelines and he told Vrabel, he's like, oh, man, I'm sorry, that was my block, blah, blah, blah. And Vrabel stopped him. He said, but what did you do afterwards? You kept running. You went and got the ball. Kudos to him for that.
Yeah, you better go get it.
Exactly. You had to make up for
body
that.
slam you through the Gatorade table.
You had to make up for that somehow.
Yeah.
But not a bad way to get your first touchdown. That's
Yeah.
cool. But you can't be the reason that the ball was fumbled, aside from Henry not
Can I
holding
say
it.
what you want to say? Fluke.
Say it.
Fluke.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he just did not give us the uprising. He did not
How
live
many
up to.
touchdowns does he have other than that?
I
think
don't
just
know.
one.
I'll have to go look
I
at
think
his
he just
career
has one
stats.
receiving touchdown.
No, really. Does he have any other touchdowns than
I
that?
think he has the one fumble recovery touchdown and the one receiving. I think I could be wrong on that.
Okay, so he has career. Hang on.
What was that?
Yeah. He has one touchdown
And it was from
In his
last.
career.
in his career. He is, in his career,
Mic drop.
he is 41 receptions for 566 yards, averaging 13.8 yards per play. Longest play was a 70-yard, 1 touchdown. On first
Dang,
down,
Malik.
he has a 53.7%.
Dang, Malik.
The
Quite
numbers he
literally,
had
bro.
through 1.5 seasons. Some low name. Now I'm not gonna say no name, but the numbers that Traylon Burks has right now through 1.5 seasons, and I know he hasn't played the full season last year or this year.
He played
But those numbers,
11
there
games
are
last
some-
year. 5 games so far this year.
so 16
Now
total
look at
games.
D Hop.
Yes.
Look at
Season
D Hop's
worth.
numbers this year.
That's what I was
Look at
about to say.
D-Hop
That's what
numbers.
I'm getting at. And then also, there's low names. Like I said, I'm not going to say no names. That's disrespectful to the players in the NFL. But there is lower names that are not always being called that have more yards, more catches, and more stats in a season
Nick
And he
Westbrook
has-
again.
in 16
Kyle
games.
Phillips.
Kyle Phillips.
Yep,
I mean,
Kyle
that's crazy.
Phillips.
You know? That's crazy to me. Like, and I agree with Maddox too. Like, he has shown basically since the first day he was a part of this team and around the team, he does not have the same energy. He does not have the same work ethic as most players on this team do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And, so that's what I'm saying. You got to hope that, maybe he's able to transition to another team and the Titans can find a way to capitalize on that. If not, then, you take him into the offseason, you try and get a trade. If you can't get a trade, then you cut him, and then, boom, you save your cap space. You just got to do it before the deadline. That's all it is. If you're not able to get that 7th-round pick out of him, I mean, just let him go. And then, boom, what Maddox said, you save that cap space, and that cap space is only going to help you into building around this, quarterback and Will Levis, because we need an O-line, backs. We need more wide receivers who are more reliable and more consistent, backs. We
Anybody know the
need a
details on
secondary,
the-
facts.
Anybody know the details on the Cooper Cup contract out in LA?
I'll have to look that up after the show. But guys, we are gonna kind of save some juice for Friday's episode. So let's not give away all of our cards just yet, because this is I like where
I
we're
got
heading
many a cards.
in this direction
Yeah,
here.
cards.
So on Friday, definitely look to us having a more in-depth, deeper conversation on potential signings or trades during the offseason, as well as we'll actually give a more in-depth recap of this game. We'll kind of share some extra thoughts on it. On the
What week
Steelers
is this
game.
we're going into?
We are, I believe, week 9. Week 9 or 10.
9.
9. Okay.
Week 9? Week 9 total in the league, right? Week 9?
So, yeah. And, guys, we'll also
Ooh,
be
it's mock
previewing.
draft time, fellas.
Yeah, we'll also be previewing our Tampa Bay versus the Tennessee Titans game. That's going to be really interesting. I'm sure we all got some awesome thoughts going into that. But, Blue, you want to give a shout-out to our affiliate sponsor real fast?
Yeah, man. As always, huge shout out to Fanatics. If you guys haven't checked it out, go ahead and check them out. I'll have a promo code. I'll send that over to Gary immediately after the show, so you can put it in the description here. Shout out to my daughter for being loud in the background.
Talk about it. Mine is too.
No, but yeah, man. If you guys haven't checked out Fanatics, you're living under a rock. Go check them out, guys. My hat came from Fanatics. A bunch of my stuff that I have on my wall comes from Fanatics. Jerseys, shirts, socks, everything you can pick up, man. They got it. Also, NBA dropped some fire jerseys and new courts last night, so I'm sure those will be over on Fanatics. So if you guys are an NBA fan, I know the season is upon us, so go over and check out Fanatics to get all of your sports memorabilia and gear and get ready for the new season.
Yeah.
Look at that
Yeah,
code for you guys.
that's absolute facts, man. Massey, man, you want to give out any final thoughts on this Thursday night game real quick?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not so much on the game, but I will say, I'll go back on what I said at the beginning of the show. It was definitely a great game on both sides of the ball. Both teams played really well, in my opinion. Hopefully moving forward, we'll find a way to pull out the win at the end of the game. And also, I do want to say, man, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, throw in some comments while we're live. You know, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate all the views. We appreciate all the love, the likes, and we're going to keep on keeping on with this bad boy.
Hey, so guys, on Fanatics right now, official drop. They just dropped. They have the NBA City Edition jerseys. So that's all the new jerseys. You got everything from Los Angeles all the way down into Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, the Philadelphia 76ers, Denver Nuggets, New York Knicks, anything you can think of, guys. Those are super awesome jerseys. And the courts were super cool to see, too. So that was a cool twist for the NBA season with that NBA, in-season tournament going on right now.
Yeah.
Kind of, giving some hype to the season. My poor Memphis Grizzlies are absolutely getting stepped on this year, guys. But, hey, Titans football is starting to look better, so I got something to cheer about. You know what I'm saying?
I'll take it.
I'll take
Hey,
it.
if you guys are looking for a nice shirt, though, a pretty cool shirt, check out Corked Bats on Facebook, guys. He just dropped some Billy Jeans, so some Will Levis shirts, because before the start against the Falcons, when you searched Will Levis, it auto-corrected the Levis to Levi's, so William, Billy, and Billy Jean. So he dropped those shirts after the Thursday night game, and they're super fire, guys. And he's also super cool and a good friend of mine in Titans Idiot Nation. So y'all go check out Cork Bats if you're not already. Give him a follow, check out some of his stuff, dude. Super funny guy.
Yeah.
And pretty informative as well at the same time.
Yeah, so definitely want to shout out GMFB. Thursday morning before the game, they did a whole segment on Will Levis and the girl who took Kay Adams' place. I can't think of her name right now, but she's the one who was kind of responsible for coming up with the whole Billy Jeans, because she basically sat there and said she did the same thing. You type in Billy Jeans and it auto-correct it to Levis, So, yeah, definitely go on over there. Check out the Billy Jeans, man. Get those shirts,
Cork Bats, baby.
Yeah. And then, go into our comments here. We got in the comments, I'm not able to pull it up right now because I already got some of the stuff closed out because we're getting out of here. But we got Titans Fox who says, dang, I'm late. Yeah, bro. We kind of did this one on the fly. We were going to try and do it yesterday. Unfortunately, the twins were sick, was not able to kind of get, around to getting on into the studio and getting us live yesterday. So we're coming in a day late on our game recap, but definitely tune in next week on Friday at 6 p.m. Central Time for our newest episode, where we'll be also doing another recap of the Steelers game, but we'll be previewing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Tennessee Titans.
Y'all stay tuned for that next home game, too. I got a new Blueface mask coming. It's all jeweled out and stuff, so I'm finally going to wear that to a game. So it's going to be super hype. That'll be my third mask, so that'll be the third addition to the Blueface mask family.
Let's go.
As you guys know, I've got the one that's painted with the white and the red, and then I've got just the plain blue, so I'm going to add this one in. And it's kind of, got like the jewel effect. I know you guys have seen the big chains with the jewels, so it's same kind of concept as that. Just got that two-tone blue in it, so I'm super excited to drop that out too, guys.
Definitely. All right, guys. So with that being said,
Titan Fox in the comments, man. Can't wait to see you next week too, bro. It's gonna be another good show.
Yep. Shout out to you, man. Titans Fox. Also, don't forget you're sent to timeout. So, with that being said, just want to take the time to thank my fellow co-host, Matthew Massey and Matthew Maddox, a.k.a. Titan Superfan Blueface. I want to thank y'all for joining and being a part of this show. Definitely appreciate having both of y'all on here and both of y'all a part of the show. With that being said, we always say one thing before we get out of here. Let's peace out. Tighten up. All right, guys. Once again, want to give a huge shout out to everybody who joined us live today for What's Shaking Titans. Definitely, if you are... Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties. Give me 1 second here and I'll have this corrected. There we go. All right, guys. So I want to give a huge shout out to everybody who joined us live today. Definitely take the time to go check out our Facebook, all of our social media platforms, Instagram, X, TikTok, Spotify. If you're watching us live right now, give us a big old like on YouTube. Subscribe to our channel if you're not yet already subscribed to our YouTube channel. The more you give, the more you watch us, the more you share us out, the more people get to know about us, guys. We definitely appreciate you. Take care. Peace out. Tighten up. This episode of What's Shaking Titans is powered by Bailey's Barbecue. Bailey's Barbecue, smoking good barbecue.
Baby.